little. We're all the same a little. Someone just wanna be bad. Not gotten bad, bad, bad.
Here come the Tigers wearing black and gold. Stout-hearted men, bald face and bold. Hello, it's Footy and Frothies. Blake's looking at Blake, you want to come over? Come and put a headset on.
We've got the smile back on the face for a second week in a row.
It's Easter. We're back. We're fresh. We've got another Tigers. I'm just going to mute you for a sec there, Blake.
Wasn't as comfortable as last week, though. There was a bit of puckering there in the last 5 minutes.
It was not. This might blow your head off. We're doing this on air because that's how we roll.
Yeah.
Pop them on. Other way. Turn it around. Yeah. Yep. And flip that. And then hopefully when you put that on and I turn this up, you're going to hear me. Can you hear me? Yep. Now bring that mic in. You're still not making noise. Why are you not making noise? Oh, because I'm mute. All right. Yeah, hello.
G'day.
How's it going?
Howdy.
Blake's here. We'll get him in a sec. It's Daggy and Barney as always. Footy and Frothies. You can find us on socials, YouTube, Spotify, all the good stuff on the back of Easter weekend after a magnificent Monday afternoon. And as we sometimes do at the Gums, picked up a random. We'll get him in a sec. How are you, Barn? How was Easter?
Yeah, real good, mate.
Filled up the daughter and left her at home with the missus full of chocolate. Well done.
Exactly. Fill her up with caffeine and sugar, and off we go to the pub to watch the Tigers win again for the second week in a row.
It's a streak.
Just can't wipe the smile off your face once again. Bit of panic set in there for the last 5 minutes, though.
Last 30 seconds. Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Panic set in for the middle 40 minutes. We'll get to that in a sec.
Yes.
But, rest of Easter was good.
Yeah, no, fantastic, mate. Can't complain. Just everyday stuff for me. I wasn't on a ship for 3 days. I didn't go camping out in the bush like some of the people here. But, just a pretty regular Easter weekend for myself.
Full disclosure, I won't offer much tonight. I've been on the Pacific Adventure for 3 days, so I've seen the Panthers game and the Tigers game. I went back and watched the minis today, but obviously they don't generally offer as enough as you'd want for this sort of thing. But, enjoyed the 2 games I did watch, obviously. So I'm going to just be playing dumb and letting you run the show today, Barn. But we'll start with, very quickly, he's popped a headset on and come down here and vaguely recognised me from when I used to be hot. Blake's joined us, good Tigers fan, and we'll kick off with the Tigers game we just watched. But tell us a bit about yourself, Blake, and what have you made of the last hour and a half or so?
Oh, well, thank you for accepting me in. First time
Absolutely.
Funny enough, it's the first time coming down there. Well, to be fair, it's actually my local.
Yeah,
funny enough, it took about 10 years to get down here. It's like, come down here, great day. Unfortunately, typical West Tigers game. Pump you up and then do their best to rip your heart out.
Scare the crap out of you for the last couple of minutes of the game. You've been a lifelong Tigers fan?
Yeah, no. Funny enough, I said born in Queensland and then I come down here and grew up in Penrith and Glen Park most of my life. Weirdly enough, so as a kid, loved big Tigers. I said love big Cats, and Macca's had a promo with NRL and picked West Tigers over Panthers at the time, and thought it was going good. Won the premiership in 2005, and it's been a heartache ever since, really.
Should have won a comp in 2010. Nearly should have won in 2011.
Different
story.
We don't talk about refereeing in the scrum there.
Yeah,
that's a stitch up. But
we soldiered through, and at least a couple of good weeks in a row. Let's kick off for the sake of not keeping you sticking around all night if you don't have to.
Nah, mate, working hospitality, mate. I got 2 days off. I'm absolutely taking it. So
let's kick off with the being on the cruise. I have not done a lot of news or anything. I've seen, obviously, we're going to have the concerns around Lockie Galvin's hip drop. There was the Max Plath hip drop, looking at 2 to 3 weeks as well. I guess they'll both be quite similar. And poor old Luke Metcalf broke his leg on...
Oh, so it's come through. What has happened? Broken leg?
Well, allegedly. I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Okay.
Have you seen much more?
All I knew is in a moon boot, looked more like a lower leg towards an ankle, but
okay.
I haven't heard anything out of the club yet. So
nothing else obvious I've missed in terms of news?
No, not off the top of my head. Pretty strong weekend, realistically. There's some really good football played from the majority of teams. one or two performances you wouldn't expect out of the likes of, Manly was the big one for mine. They had a shocker for a big part of that game. But, yeah, news-wise, there wasn't a whole heap come out of this weekend that I can remember, to be honest.
No. But
I'm
let's
sure
kick
there'll
off.
be a few HIAs and all the rest of that stuff that we normally get
Yes.
week in, week out. But we might keep that for the Wednesday show. We'll have a better update on everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So.
So we'll wrap back around and kick off 17-16 Easter Monday. The Tigers, the traditional wacky game we get on Easter Monday, came through again, and very, very proud of the Tigers' defensive efforts. But did you get any stats, or am I going to whip through here?
No, I got the stats. We got 16-17, 2 tries to 3, 1 out of 2 conversions for Parramatta, 2 out of 3 for the Tigers, 3 out of 4 penalty attempts for Parramatta, a converted field goal and a missed 2-point field goal from the Tigers. 78% completion played, 81%, 202 plus running metres for the Parramatta side, 4 line breaks apiece, 29 tackle busts played, 26, 13 offloads to 8. 186 plus kicking metres for the Tigers, which was probably a big part of them getting out of trouble for a big part of today. Very good kicking game there. 314 tackles played, 332. 13 errors from Parramatta, who seemed to make probably 10 of those in the second half. But and 10 for the Tigers. 3 penalties conceded to 10, which seemed pretty inconsistent for mine. But anyway, 2 ruck infringements to 2 and a sin bin against the Tigers. Gutherson with 107 Supercoach points, Hopgood with 76, and Olam with 74. They'll probably change over the next few hours.
So obviously
few
no
updates and
no
stuff,
updates just yet, but I guess the starting point's got to be tremendously proud as a Tigers fan of that first half defensive effort.
Yeah, well, you were pretty well on top for the first 10, from what I could see. I think I missed the first 3 or 4 minutes before I got here. Just managed to miss that first try, but it looked like you're winning the physical battle for that first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, Stefano led the charge there, just because you were still in the way. I thought Stefano had a great first 20 minutes.
Absolute pinballing Parramatta players left, right and centre.
Yeah, he looked...
you don't often see against the Parramatta side, but...
No. And they came into the game, they started Borlo, started Hopgood, benched Hopgood, started Maddo. So and you could see that the plan was quite physical and offload and try and just set up and own the game that way. I guess slow Appy down, and Tigers handled it pretty well. I thought they did take ascendancy pretty quickly. Tigers
about that 10 or 12 minute mark, not long after the Tigers had scored, and it just came off the back of Tigers' errors. Really, ball handling was pretty bad there for about a 10 or 15 minute period, and that really allowed Parramatta just to put pressure consistently through the middle, and they really made a point of going to Staines too on that your right hand defensive edge.
Trying to isolate Stevens.
Parramatta left hand edge, and they got a little bit of joy out of it, but for the amount of time they were camped in the Tigers' defensive line in that defensive 20 metres for 25 minutes of that first half, and to only break them once really was testament to just how the Tigers continually turned up.
I think it was pushing towards 4 high 40s, maybe even more. It was 60s. Tackled in a 20 verse.
Last I heard was like 29 in opposition 20.
Yeah.
That was like 10 with 10 to go. So
yeah, it was 60 odd verse by the end of the game, 30 odd, and just an outstanding. And 12 months ago, as you'd agree, Blake, it would have been 28-6 half time and shut up shop and would have been happy. And whatever the structures are, the scramble was fantastic.
Well, I was going to say, funny enough, like this time last year, the exact same thing happened. Parramatta broke out, and then Tigers, during that little bit of the going up period, where we had a little bit of momentum going with us, somehow came back. So it's good to see we actually, holding ourselves together. A few errors here and there, you know what? We're still turning up for each other.
Exactly. I think the scramble is as good as I've seen from the Tigers in 4 or 5 years.
Well, they're on the back foot and had to defend for probably 50, maybe close to an hour during this game. Like, the amount of times they had to turn up for each other and turn Parramatta away. The only thing I would say is probably helped the fact that Parramatta were very run first today. Gutherson was the only bloke who was probably providing any sort of ball playing. Young fella Tuolagi and Dylan Brown were very run centric, and there wasn't a lot of cutout balls or changes of of direction in and around, the edges of the post. But it was immense the way that they continually turned up for each other, the Tigers.
Final penalty count for the record was 10-3 to Para. So there was never the chance to give them a few flattering penalties in the back end of the game to get Tiger.
There's a little bit of that with the Tigers trying to slow down the ruck. Just, you get 3-4 repeat sets on your own line. You have to do something to try and disturb the constant flow of pressure. But I can't believe that they still had anything left in their legs at the 50, 60-minute mark, to be honest. The amount of pressure they had to absorb.
What do you make once we head into the second half? So opened early with the Parramatta try through the middle. Hopgood busted him, and again you thought, oh, here we go. Now it's the floodgates are about to open. Some nice support play through to Gutho. And then that was it, I think. Once Tigers finally got some ball back in their hands, they controlled the game really well. Appy was fantastic, kicking early, kicking out dummy half. Caesar as well. And ultimately came back to a few occasions they could have isolated the Parramatta wingers again, never really nailed it, but then came home with a fantastic Galvin backing himself, breaking the line as a big boy he is, and setting up Olam to run away, and then Buller back through the middle. So it was two fantastic touches.
Yeah, I dare say the Tigers will be working a little bit on their short kicking game going into next week. There was a lot left to be desired with some cross kicks and grubber kicks in behind to try and, as you said, isolate wingers or to get people to turn around and chase back to the in goal. But at the end of the day, it came down to that Galvin brilliance. Like, obviously he got sent off for 10 minutes, and how they only scored 2 points in that 10 minutes is beyond me as well. Parramatta's attack was very flat at times, but the amount of time they had ball in hand and pressure on the Tigers, you thought they would have cracked at some point, but it didn't happen. And for Galvin to go to that left edge and the way he fended off a player and then steps back inside and gets that offload back to Buller to score underneath the post, that's the match-winning moment. And for mine, it has to be man of the match, even though he spent 10 minutes in the bin. He was the guy who iced it when it was out to be done.
I don't want to call him the second coming of Brad Fittler just yet, but we're well on the path.
No, we don't go hyping up Tigers halves just yet. No.
But yeah, what do you make of the?
We've learned from last time.
What do you make of the back end of the game?
Just I don't know how to describe it. Like, as both me and you were sort of eyeing each other off, because eyeing each other off was just like, here we go. Like, it's same old Tigers. Here we go again. Where are we gonna bugger this up?
Yeah.
And if anyone knows NFL, it's like sort of Cleveland Browns. How are we going to Cleveland Brown this? Like, it's like, what are we going to do to screw this up? We've learned 2 years ago, Tigers can lose quite literally the impossible.
Yeah.
Like, absolute bend the rules to lose it against the Cowboys. But
and it came about because iced a field goal with 39 seconds left, and iced is a generous word. It was icing on the cake, I suppose.
He shanked it.
It was buttercream.
It managed to fall over the post.
But 30 seconds ago, I just said, no, there's still time. And lo and behold, first, they'd used their challenge, first kickoff, the next kickoff.
Short kickoff, yeah.
Short kickoff, offside, penalty, or foul. Was it foul play or penalty? But
Accidental offside.
Accidental offside.
Yeah.
So Gutho had a 40 out from the sideline sort of kick and couldn't valid, I guess. So.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. He obviously tried to hit it straight and not curl it, but started it way too far to the left, and it was never going to happen. But that's the kind of thing, he probably hits that 7 or 8 times out of 10 at training, and then it's just that pressure moment, obviously. And the pressure got to him, and he sprays it to the left, and Tigers are left to win, and he'll be ruined that opportunity, I dare say, for some time now. So.
Thoughts in that moment, Blake?
Well, we know. With his hands in our heads, just absolute praying to whatever footy God would ever listen to a desperate Tiger fan.
They've abandoned this for about 12 years, but yeah.
Yeah, no. Someone got through and we're hugging for joy.
Yeah, it was, and a little funny story. Blake and I have known each other for probably nearly 25 years, but, or 20 odd years. How old are you?
No, 28, yeah.
Yeah. Probably 20 years, and did you recognise each other? Back because I used to be skinny. But and then ran inside and had a hug with some other randoms. So lovely times and very good to see.
We don't get very many of them, so it's like, look.
Exactly.
Especially as Para on Easter Monday, it's very... No, we get flogged by then.
Traditional cracker, but lovely outcome and lots to take out for the Tigers. Like that defensive effort, that is the sort of defensive effort that sets up a season. If you could say, well, if we can do that for 12 men for a bit, but that first half where you're 65% possession and they're taking a penalty at the end of the half, hopefully they can hammer that home. And it seems Benji's doing good things, and it's all positive signs.
Well, it's very reminiscent of like 2010 and also 2005. Like 2005, Tigers were not known for defence. The only defence was every man possible. Scramble defence, all that's it. Scramble defence, just survive, and then absolute all-out attack. And that got us through. And same in 2010. It wasn't a very good defensive structure, but scramble, tackle, just protect the line, and then we get through.
Yeah.
So believe in the attack. As well, Benji said, what you see in front of you, go through that, and then.
Yep, absolutely. What have you made of what Benji's done with the club so far? Because I'll probably let you go off this game, to be honest, because I don't want to drag you through the next hour and a bit. But
man, I'm all here for it, mate. It's working hospitality. I see all the games. So
yeah. Oh, cool. Even better. What have you made of where Benji's heading? Signings you've made? What's happening next?
You can already see it straight away. Like, it's an absolute change of mindset in the club. Like, Appy Carousel's leading the way with pure desperation, and the forwards are backing that up with punching through, and the backs. There's no one's giving up. That's the best way to put it. No one's giving up. Like, there's no like a bit of animosity. All right, cool, sweet, deal with it. But they're backing up again.
Yeah.
We drop the ball. All right, sweet, back it up. Good defensive set, and then get through it again. Where years before. Drop the ball on our own goal line, put our heads down, and then just bang, bang, bang. All of a sudden, 3 tries straight through, and all of a sudden, 24 fall down.
Fair commentary, Barn?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's funny, you saw the first Tigers performance of the year and their defence was absolute rat shit. And then they come out against the Sharks and then come out again this week and put in some of the strongest defensive performances we've seen coming into this year. It's They say defence is built on attitude, and obviously that's a big part of what's going on there. You've got a pretty tight-knit group of guys by the looks of things. But, yeah, just like going towards the stats, if you have a look at the outside backs of Parramatta, they really had no impact apart from Sivo being able to score the try.
Well, it felt almost like we'll isolate Staines and then we're sweet. Mm-hmm. And Staines stepped up. I was nervous there, but he... and as I said, you're sitting over there. He found a way to chop. If you chop down Steve in his first couple of steps, you can have him covered. But once he winds up, you're not stopping him.
But yeah, the ball never really seemed to get outside of those the tramline markers there. The last sort of 15 metres out to the outside edges, very limited ball that got out there. It was between Dylan Brown running or Gutherson changing angles and going back into the middle. Whereas, and the outside backs didn't get many opportunities there. There were some very good performances from the Parramatta side. Regan Campbell-Gillard did plenty in the middle of the field. You throw in Sean Lane as well, who worked his backside off. Hopgood's been probably their best player week in and week out since the start of the season, and you could probably go back halfway through last year as well and throw him in that conversation. He was fantastic for them in the middle of the field. And, Gutherson and Dylan Brown were the guys that they were looking for to try and start something in the attack, but they just couldn't finish it properly.
I feel like it's testament to the Tigers' scramble is that both Talangi and Brown were able to make so many breaks and still get chopped down not far past the line, and I think that's just something that didn't exist, hasn't existed for years. So
I gotta say though, like Gutho's ad-lib in that first half on that left-hand side, it landed one try. Almost landed a bloody second. Yeah. If it wasn't for a foot out on the touchline. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Parramatta would have easily been a couple of tries up on that left-hand side, just through pure ad-lib. So,
and like I said, it felt like that was their first go-to. It's like, we'll be sweet. Don't worry, we'll score 3 down that side and off we go. And
with the amount of ball, they should have cracked the Tigers probably another 2 times in that first half.
Well, let's flip
whether it be through a barge over or a second rower or something.
How much? Let's flip this back to Para. How much of it is concerned their attack, given how much possession and ball they did have?
For mine, they had Dylan Brown playing too much on both sides of the field. He's always been a left side centric player, and I think they need to find a like for Moses, who will dominate the right hand side and be a bit more of a ball player rather than a ball runner, which has been an issue for them with their ball distribution. But they never really seem to go anything off script either, which...
No, there was no improvisation.
apart
Darcy
from,
elastic
obviously,
sort of kick
you mentioned
here and there, but-
Gutherson in the first sort of 15, 20 minutes over on that left... Oh, sorry, the first half an hour or so on that left-hand side where he was throwing a few basketball passes and doing something different over on that left-hand edge. There was a few issues, but once they sort of got in front, they just seemed to go into cruise control, and there wasn't really the ball.
Even
the
the
ball playing
offloads
for
really
mine
shut
was the issue.
down. The offloads shut down. There's no sort of second phase, and then I've come back to sort of thinking that Talangi and Brown are both running halves that aren't going to complement each other well. Maybe they're better. Well, Justin Arcee's up their sleeve. Maybe they're better off just playing Gutho 6 and trying to get something out of.
Yeah, when they went to the edges,
A
it was
better
just
back.
more catch and pass.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, and the Tigers were able to slide across the line. But obviously, performances out of the Tigers, there was some special ones there too, especially in the middle of the field. I thought they really matched Parramatta, if not owned them at different times, especially being on the back foot for so long. But Bateman had a fantastic game. Throw Ice in there as well. He had a couple of handling errors and mistakes and stuff, but you expect that out of your forwards, that happens.
Almost a send-off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very almost a send-off.
Stefano, as you said, was probably their best forward by a fair way.
And I really, really liked Fainu. I liked him at Manly. We've talked, and I'll get your thoughts in a sec. I liked what I sort of angle, big angle. Like when he first debuted, he reminded me of Tupanua, but I think he's better than that. I think he's
better than Tupanua too.
and he still hasn't filled out yet. And he's got a
Played
carbon copy
38
brother.
minutes and did a fantastic job. Was
Bumps off and goes
line
looking for work.
breaks.
He was playing that link role for Pole as well. So interesting. I haven't gone back and looked at stats. Interesting that rotation between Seyfarth, Pole, Fainu play out. That does interest me as well.
Yeah, in the short time he was on there, he had a very big impact. Both halves were pretty decent for the Tigers. Caesar had a couple of moments he would have liked back, but did his job for the most part. And Galvin blew the game apart at the back end of the game. Olam is your new strike weapon. Like, he is the go-to at the moment for the Tigers. Whenever there's something happening through a second row or a half, there's half a break. Just give it to that bloke and just fucking unwind him and let him go from the back fence, because he is so hard to stop.
Just quickly, thoughts on our forwards. I'll let you talk about that.
Thoughts on forwards. It's an easy top 8 forward back. Like it's always been.
We've said that for 2 years as well.
It's always been, to be fair, it's always been West Tigers' weakness, our forward pack. But no, today Alex Seyfarth was. I don't know. His first half was a little bit. See, he was aggressive, but also playing that. Come out a hooker, throwing a few passes here and there, and then a little kick, which he'll probably have his kicker's license revoked in that one. But we'll love to have back.
Yeah.
But no, his aggressiveness is a bit of a change for him, because he's normally a bit more passive than that, which is about we like to see come off the bench, actually show a bit of aggression, show you want to be there.
He was good last week too.
He was good last
week. And as we've said a lot, he's a bigger body than you realise. He's 6'3". He's a big boy.
No, but it's been a little bit Christmas, a little bit passive, but no, today I reckon he really showed it. You wanted to be there.
Yeah. Happy days. And today we got nice to get one out. Any final words on Parra? Next 3 months concerned now?
Without Moses, absolutely it does.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to
And
throw
Cartwright as well. Like Cartwright on the field is another point of attack
100%.
that has been the point of attack
on that edge. Yeah. Being able to provide offloads and even hold defenders up, because they're worried about the angled run back through the middle. But they need to provide a hell of a lot more ball playing options than what they did in this game.
Yeah. Any final words? Let's move on. We've spent a bit of time on this one. We'll get playing through.
3, 2, 1.
3 to Galvin. Is that what we're saying? I think
Galvin.
Gutho deserves 2. I think he was
and then
fantastic.
Then probably Olam the one.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
just quickly,
Hopgood.
I didn't mention him. Obviously, you tied up pretty well, but I think he's come out and said he carried an injury for 12 months at Melbourne and never quite got right. He's right. He's fit. He looks slimmer
He does.
than he did for Melbourne. Maybe it's just the black, but he looks slimmer.
He looks scary.
And he's motivated.
He's absolutely scary.
There was a missile that came out of they penalised Bateman because they had to find something. But when he launched himself, he was about to put Tuolangi into a different planet. If he'd hit him, he would have. I thought he was phenomenal last week. I thought he was phenomenal again today. So.
When it comes on screen and penalty says foul play, it's like, if Olam hit him, it would have been different than foul play.
It's attempted murder.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's what he got penalised for.
Honorary 3 points, Liam Henry,
murdered him.
the referee. But anyway, Liam Henry, Humphreys, something like that. Let's wrap back around and let's go back to Thursday night where...
Oh, referees. Let's talk about Thursday.
Doesn't it?
Man.
This has been a particularly bad start to the year, hasn't it? But 22-16, Panthers beat the Chooks at Allianz. And yes, there was some bunker officiating involved. Stats though, Barn, have a crack.
Yeah, 3 tries to 4, 2 out of 3 conversions for the Roosters, 2 out of 4 for Penrith. 1 out of 1 penalty attempts for the Penrith side. It was 6 to the Roosters, 14-6 to Penrith's way at half time. 78% completion, played 76%, 347 plus running metres, and 132 plus post-contact metres from a depleted Penrith side. 3 line breaks apiece, 31 tackle busts, played 33, 10 offloads to 8, 2 forced dropouts to 3, 374 tackles, played 331, 10 errors to 11, 4 penalties conceded by the Roosters, 9 by the Penrith side, 2 ruck infringements to 1, 2 inside the 10s to 1. Dylan Edwards with 120 Supercoach points, Taruva with 113, and Terrell May from the Roosters with 77.
Have we just reached the point where the Penrith machine's now
Yeah.
just all-encompassing?
Who's missing? Who cares?
Doesn't matter.
All plans remain the same. You will go out. There will be no change, no deviation from the plans, and you will go out and play good football and win football games. It's just how it is. You will do your job. You will do it well. You will do it well, and you will win games of football.
Watch Brad Schneider sign a $500,000 deal somewhere next day.
Told you all after 3 games with Canberra, but anyway, they sold him overseas and he's come back. But there was a slight deviation in the attack where Yo basically played 7 for most of this game. He went in and was first receiver for a lot of it, whether he shuffled it across the line or took it into the line with his usual grunt work that he does, and then provide it for the outside backs. It helped Schneider out a lot, gave him a bit of extra time to do his work off the back of Yo, who was taking up, he was getting those hits that Cleary normally takes a whack for. It was Yo was taking all of them this time instead of spreading it between the two. But, mate, Yo is such a tremendous asset to this team. To be able to just come in and play primary ball receiver, and
I think he's now reached the point where they can lose whoever they want, but if they lose him, they're in lots of trouble, which they won't because he's obviously on a long-term deal. But he's now he's the guy.
Yeah. And Schneider took over most of the attacking kicking and did it very well. Some really nice high kicks, grubbers in behind the line, and he did a damn good job of the kicking for the Penrith side. Had a pretty strong running game as well. I thought the Roosters felt like they were a fair way behind for most of this game.
Oh, they were.
I know the score doesn't say that, but they were miles behind Penrith for most of this game.
The score's absolutely flattering.
It was super concerning how much they couldn't get out of their own 30. The Penrith pack owned up and just kept them pinned, and they had nowhere to go for so long in this game. And in a comp where, stocks are falling, if you can't beat Penrith in the forwards, you're not beating them in the backs. So
Well, they probably matched Penrith in the forwards, and they did have a couple of really good performers in that forward pack for the Roosters.
And maybe that's fair. Maybe the fact that Taruva and Tuo can still find the meters they can.
That's the next point I was about to go to. That back five for Penrith is fucking tremendous at getting them out of trouble. Every first and second tackle, they're making 10, 15, 20. They get a half break, they're running 30, 40 metres upfield and fucking, they're in behind the defensive line and you're completely fucked. And then they just play from there. and they even up the tempo even more if they, if you get a half break and then they've split you, then they're just going to come even harder at you. The rotation for the forwards for the Roosters was dog shit. Like,
Is it? I haven't done. I said been away. I haven't done notes. Did Guzzi not come on till the second half?
Yeah, he played about 19 minutes or something, I think.
They needed him. 'Cause he was bloody good when he came on. He looked.
Yeah, for about
Up and
half
ready
of
to
the
go.
time. And then he sort of got folded as well a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it's back to the ball just getting out to their outside back so slowly. Like, they've got the likes of Manu and Suwali out there. And I've been saying it for a couple of years. It seems more and more like Kiri's the problem.
Yeah.
When they're playing through Walker and Tedesco and they're playing direct like they did last week, they look tremendous.
I saw a headline today, and I didn't read the article partly because it's Fox League, that Walker's come out to defend Kiri, and obviously the drunken drums are starting to beat and that sort of thing. I agree.
I get it. The bloke's probably scared. Like, he doesn't want to give up the next couple of years of his career where he's going to get decent money.
Yeah.
But he's a HIA or two away from having to retire.
Yeah.
And the Roosters aren't shy from retiring someone from HIA, as we saw with a couple of guys a year or two ago. So,
okay. What initial thoughts, Blake? I better let you jump in here. Barney gets on his soliloquy.
No, to be fair, like the punters had them underdogs, so no, it's I wasn't surprised. Like I said, living here, I know the exact system and like the exact junior system and the development that they have said. It's a very one man goes. Nothing to replace them. Keep going. Keep moving forward. And the system they got here is it's almost unparalleled to any other club in New South Wales, at least that I know
Well,
of.
it's not. I believe, and I hate to say this, wearing my wristband and my jersey, but I believe Tigers is sort of next cab off the rank if they do it properly, and because Tigers have hills and that sort of thing as well. But, yes, and then it's a drop off.
it's just obviously kept so consistent all the way through, from first grade all the way down to their under 16s. You know what I mean? They obviously all play the same systems. They defend the same systems, so it makes it so much easier when you moved up a grade. You're playing the same defensive system. The attack folds out the same way most of the time, so it makes it a lot easier.
Was it even growing up here? Like they're very well protective of like. All right, they're very good at picking who the next star players are, and they very well protect them. Right, you go to this home, and then the whoever's looking after that home, it's like, all right, you do this, come home at this time, and they feed them, look after them, train them,
eat this,
take
train
them there,
this way,
and they know how to grow the grassroots.
It's funny because obviously Mav Guy debuted and he was okay. Like, I have no firm opinion either way. He was fine. He did what he had to do.
Small minutes, a couple of nice runs.
Yeah, that's fine. But I had someone at an Easter hat parade, in fact, go to their way to pull me aside and go, there's 8 better players than him in the 20s. They're just not ready yet. He goes, which good luck to him. I hope he has a fantastic first grade career, whatever it might be. But yes, for the fact someone pulled me aside to tell me.
We'll have a look at Katoa at the Dolphins.
Yeah, but
they didn't want to let him go. He ended up going up there. It's taken him a year to find his feet, but he's played 2 of the best games of footy I've seen, out of a young up-and-coming half in the last 2 weeks.
Well, also the fact he knocked back Melbourne, it's like, I would have gone straight into Melbourne.
I sort of feel the same because then you're outside the bubble and then you can go different.
And
anyway,
also at the time we're desperate for a half this time last year. So
yeah, absolutely. So I think the prime barometer of the Roosters is how Teddy's running, and he got pinned in the corner a lot, looking for somewhere to go. I subscribe fully to our theory that they need to probably find someone else for Kiri. You could have spent, and especially when you could have spent 18 months developing Mine into a 5'8", or you could have.
Well, just tell him he needs to play flatter at the line.
You got Sandon Smith, who was fantastic last week. I know he's injured, but
like, he doesn't have to run it into the line, but he's so far back. You look at most teams; they play a lot flatter in attack.
Yeah.
But once the ball gets past the 7 out to Kiri, he's 10 metres behind the play, and then that means obviously the other blokes have got to be another 5 metres behind that, and then by the time he's got the ball and moved it on, they're not even at the advantage line. So it just stifles their attack massively, I think. Play flat at the line and distribute fast. Give it to these guys one-on-one opportunities. I think it'd make a massive difference to the way the Roosters are set up at the moment.
Well, especially when you've gone your way to buy one-on-one players. Blokes like Manu. And Manu, when he got the ball, was still beating blokes 1 and 2 on 1. Dom Young tried his absolute guts out, dropped had a few calls go against him.
Got absolutely flogged running the ball off his own line, but how many times he got absolutely iced and put on his back trying to run it out of his own end? When you look at the opposition, then the back five for Penrith were enormous at doing that. I thought Brandon Smith had a pretty good game, so did Victor. They were very good. The halves and Teddy were okay, but we've already mentioned the problems that we saw out of that. Manu and May and Nat Butcher were fantastic. They were their 3 best players by a mile, and they put in for the entirety of the game. And
Terrell May's something else now, isn't he? Are you a super coach player, Blake?
Nah.
He just throws blokes around, just charges into the defensive line. Put a few good, nice, hard hits on as well. But I thought Leota had a good impact, but probably didn't play enough minutes.
Eisenhuth, he's had a couple of good weeks. He's got a little bit of I don't want to say grub, but close to grub in him. But he busts his ass. He's just one of those guys. He's in the system. He works for everyone else. And I think in this game he was noticeable.
Liam Henry's killing it for a young kid on the way up. And Lindsay Smith as well. I thought they were fantastic, taking over that middle role. They were missing a few blokes in there. The halves are good. Tago did a good job, but it was Edwards, Yo, and Taruva.
Yeah.
Everything that came good from those guys.
You with
pulling
us?
the defence apart.
Can you hear us? You've dropped out. All right. We'll pause and check. No? Hello? I'll be with you in a sec. I just fucked it, didn't I? I want to mention Taruva because that Penrith left-hand sweep is right-hand sweep? Right-hand sweep is now the best set square play in the comp, surely.
You got Martin running the angles, which draws in defenders.
It's reminiscent of Souths 3 years ago, and now
Targo's got fantastic footwork when he's one-on-one with someone.
But you just know it's coming, and they still pull it off.
The problem is they could go the other way and do almost exactly the same with May and Toto on the other side of the field. So
amazing. I watched this game, was just in awe of the Penrith system. Here they are. There they are. They're missing Cleary. Jerome Lai, good. Good.
Yeah.
Very good. We haven't mentioned him.
No, he had plenty of runs, which you don't often see out of him. Went looking to be, if there was a problem, pop up in the middle of the field and the ball got sort of stagnant, he made sure he made his way in there and got hold of it and got it to an outside edge or put a kick in. He's very good considering some of the performances he's put in earlier in the year.
Thoughts on Luai?
No, I missed him during the game, so
okay, fair enough.
I can't comment too much about that.
Taruva with a hat trick, so I gave him the 3 points in this one. Just being able to finish. I know there's probably blokes on the inside that might have deserved the 3, but Yo is the guy, and I gave him 2, and then I had Edwards for the 1. But
yeah, that's fair. I would have given Yo 3, but fair. No knock at all. 20-16, the Bunnies beat the Bulldogs, and as I said, I'll tap out for a lot of this rest of the show, as many people appreciate. I've watched all the Fox Minis, I guess. This did not look pretty. What did the stats say, and what do you think, Barn?
Battle of the team who seemed to want to lose it more than the other one. Can't say that, actually. Dogs probably tried harder than Souths. Souths 20, Dogs 16, 3 tries apiece, 2 out of 3 conversions from both teams. 2 out of 3 conversions from Souths, 2 out of 2. What have I fucking done here? 2 out of 3 conversions from both teams, 2 out of 2 penalties from Souths. I wrote down conversions again for some reason. 10-12 at halftime, 94% completion for Souths and 77% for the Dogs. 230 plus running metres and 72 plus post-contact metres for the Bulldogs. 6 line breaks to 5, 32 tackle busts played 29, 8 offloads from both sides, 1 forced dropout to 2. A 40-20 from the Bulldogs, 353 tackles, played 338, 5 errors to 12, 11 penalties conceded by South, 6 by the Bulldogs, 1 ruck infringement to 2, 2 inside the 10 against South Sydney. Bulldogs had a player sin binned. Whiten with 103 Supercoach points, Cook with 92 and Tracy with 91.
Again, just quickly, AJ is an injury concern that I didn't get to earlier, but 6 to 8 weeks with whatever it is. Something not good. Didn't look good. Blake, initial thoughts on this game?
Thank God. Thank God I didn't pay the money to go watch it. It's just two. I don't know how to say it. There's probably two of the biggest disappointments on the competition. Really. So a lot of hype on the Bulldogs, sort of turning it around with all the signings, and see Cameron Serrato with his coaching ability can coach him back up. But also the Rabbitohs, just I don't know, all the animosity around the team. A lot of negativity can be the biggest your biggest detriment to a team.
Was this a bottom four clash?
Attacking wise, it looked like it.
Yeah.
Dogs put in plenty of effort again and absolutely busted their ass to just go down at the back end of this game, unfortunately. And that's not one thing the Dogs have been lacking is effort. They've been putting in plenty of effort every game that they've turned up for this year. They just don't have the players that are able to finish backline movements or even set them up to begin with, to be honest. It seems like a lot of individual efforts out of the likes of Kiraz, Tracy, Crichton at times to be able to and Kikau in previous games, not this one because he was barely sighted in this game. But, the individual efforts to be able to break open a defensive line rather than a well-constructed attack, which comes back to a lot of the ball playing, which is less than be desired. And Souths looked exactly the same for a big part of this game as well. Their attack looked clunky. Again, it came down to individual efforts, mainly from Whiten, who absolutely carved up in this game and looked like a superstar at different times. But the momentum just swapped every 15, 20 minutes in this game. It went from Souths to the Dogs, back. And it came through just simple errors and penalties given away. Just people doing stupid shit at the wrong time and handing the ball back to the opposition who managed to, somehow eke out a try, whether it's through, with a one-on-one effort. So there was just nothing seemed to flow. There was no sort of natural ball playing. There was no, we're going this way because this is what we always do. It was just, oh, fuck, who do I pass it to? Where are we going now? And there just seemed to be no cohesion in attack from either side.
Now, ultimately, the 2 penalties are difference, really. I said it last week, Blake, you weren't here, but how much would Bulldogs have won by if Toby Sexton plays?
Yeah, they probably would have won. I probably don't rate him as highly as you do, to be honest.
I rate him better.
Yeah. But as a controlling half, being able to pin teams in corners and apply a bit more pressure than what they're currently doing, yes.
My point being, I feel like he's a proper halfback, and I don't feel like we've now got a month's worth of exposure to say that I don't think Hutcho's the answer. And I said last week that Bulldogs won last week by default, like by 30 by default without a half. So I think that's the biggest. Whether they move Taff in and Tracy back, whether they go somewhere else, I don't know. But they've got Toby Sexton sitting there. I haven't looked at reserve grade results. The couple of reserve grade games that were broadcast, he was very good in. We saw him in the trials, but he's obviously not in their plans. But I think they need 2 halves. They need 2 halves. Simple as that.
They need someone who is a tactical kicker and. Yeah, someone who's a tactical kicker and actually plays a couple of plays ahead, because at the moment they're playing off the cuff and it's play for play rather than someone putting a plan together and working to a corner and that kind of stuff. So
I still reckon South's biggest problem is Latrell Mitchell, and not the way a lot of people think of, is he's running me out of back. Like this game 97 metres average running metres out of back 97. When you got Panthers, Dylan Edwards, 250, 240 plus.
Yeah.
Warriors, 2 of us a shake, infinity. Mm-hmm. But that's sort of the standard for a top 4 fullback, is you're running out of back, and he's not doing the work. Like he's happy to do the fancy players, the passes and whatnot, which is sort of what you want out of a fullback. But he still has to do the hard yards, the hard yakka out of back, and he's not doing it.
Yeah, his defensive positioning is one thing I'll give to him. He's probably one of the better ones in defensive positioning to clean up kicks and the way the ball's coming through. But again, there was a lot of times in this game where he'd throw the pass and then stop and start walking. like Whiten makes a half break or makes a full break, gets down the edge, and he's looking for someone to give the ball back to. He probably could have had 2 tries in this game, but he clocked off and started walking.
You mentioned a couple of names, but look at Gutho today.
Oh,
Every pass he throws, he's not dying on the play till the play's over.
like basketball passes left, right, and centre.
And waiting for the offload back.
Yeah.
A lot of talk again this week about him going back to centres, but is it time maybe he tries 5'8"? He's big enough to defend the line. He can be that sort of...
Who's the halfback for Rabbitohs then?
And then you'd have to push Walker to 7.
They will push Walker to 7, should he even be around.
Walker's not a halfback though. Walker's as Benji Muscles covered it. Look what's in front of you and play it. Like he's not a controlling halfback.
I am thinking if they finish bottom 4, Cody Walker's days might be closer to over than...
I reckon Rabbitohs in a full rebuild.
Yeah. I don't know what to say that because I didn't watch the game. Connor Tracy, Dogs have something in him. I obviously watch highlights. He should be fullback because
The
he's very
Sharks'
good.
best fullback who's now playing on
The wing.
the
And
best
it's come
winger
out
at
of 2
the Bulldogs.
tries. On the back of a couple last week.
Fantastic footwork and acceleration, and that's where it all comes from. He gets to the edge of a defender and then just burns them for pace over that first 10 metres. He did some tremendous things here. He might even be realistically an option to play at 6 and move Burton to a 7 or Burton to the centres and bring Sexton in to play 7. But there's so many moving parts in that Dogs team, it's not funny. Their outside backs did a really good job of coming through and making those outside meters. Carraz, Tracy was doing a whole heap of it as well.
They're very, very good. And if you were to push Burton back into one of them as well, I think there's upside as well.
Crichton did a bit of that bully work coming out of the back end as well, and it really provided heaps of help because half of the Bulldogs pack should have just stayed at home. They were fucking horrendous in this game. Half of that Bulldogs pack did sweet fuck all for a big part of this game, and that's probably where they got done because the South Skies, while they weren't super impressive, there was a lot of guys doing a lot of work in the middle of the field, and they covered up a lot of deficiencies from blokes sliding off tackles and all that kind of stuff. And Murray cleans up that shit. Kulamattangi comes in and cleans up, somebody else falling off a tackle.
Starting Burgess helped.
I don't think so.
He's got to try.
Yeah, he is good for a barge over try here and there, but yeah, I don't know if it helps him that much. The left-hand shift was about the only thing that South did for the entirety of the game, and Whiten made sure AJ didn't see the ball and just took it on his own. The forward pack from South were all good. The starting pack anyway. Cook was really good. Cook was probably a big part of South's winning this game. His running game wasn't over the top, but his selective passing and the way he brought his forwards onto the ball was very good in this game. Curran and Mam did some good things in the middle of the field for the Dogs. Preston and Crichton were very good. The halves worked hard, but didn't provide much in attack. They just need more options. They need to give these guys more opportunity for one-on-one stuff with the likes of Carraz and Tracy. And they were probably their best players. Well, Reid did a decent job for the Dogs, and Tracy and King were probably their best players for the Bulldogs. So Max King had a ripper game in a forward pack that just didn't. Most of them didn't want to be there, but Max King showed up and did a real good job. Trell was decent, switched off a bit, as we mentioned. He just the hard work doesn't seem to suit him too much. The halves were outplayed by the Bulldogs halves, I thought, and South still won.
Jesus. But I've said that all year as well.
Keon and Burgess did a decent job in the middle. They were strong. Whiten and Murray were very good, and Cook was fantastic as well. So,
any other takeaways, Blake?
I was going to ask if you're asking for Burton to go to a centre, you're almost asking for what? The whole Panthers left edge.
Yeah.
Because you have
That's been our point. Yeah,
it's just like...
They did win a comp.
So if you're asking him to move out, then all of a sudden just, I don't know, the whole work around with that.
But that's the whole idea, yeah.
But it gives him another
Burton,
option.
Crichton.
You'd probably play.
But also to say is when...
I know you're pushing someone else out as well.
No,
Crichton goes to the right.
What's that? When New South Wales was playing Burton centre, he was still popping his bombs. Still popping bombs.
Yeah, exactly.
He still pop bombs.
And that's his like biggest asset is his kicking ability.
Can you tell me what he does apart from pop bombs? Can you tell me he has no tactical
I hate
kicking?
to say it. There's nothing. Like,
No.
He's a decent ball runner and he's got an okay short pass.
No.
That's
The
about
rest of
it.
the game's fantastic. He's fast. He can tackle. He's a very, very good centre that can boot the ball 100 metres in the air. I'm talking like if you talk about as a constructive half, he doesn't really have a rainbow ball. He doesn't have.
The funniest thing is that on the if you it's Matty John's podcast last week, he said the week before he talked about Matt Burton. And then during that week, Matty Burton actually called him and said, "Hey, look, heard about this. Like, they said, what do you say?
Which is fantastic. Like,
they said,
great.
wait, for a player to call him, he goes, he goes, hey, look, like, what should I do? Matty Johns has said to him, just you know what? Because he goes, look, I'm not a playmaker. I'm not a playmaker. I'm just used to running the ball, yada yada.
There it is.
And so Matty John said to him, "See what's in front of you. If the player's not on, pass off to your back row, which is kick out. So he said, pass off the kick out.
Yeah.
And they kick out do it. And so in kick out space. And when they play the Titans, so that was the week before they played the Titans. Did that, kick out absolutely destroy the Titans. Because if you actually watch Burton, he does it a lot. Plays the kick out does the play. And so he's not a playmaking of a half. Like he's admitted it openly now.
He's an NFL punter. He could make lots. He could make 45 million a year going over there and booting balls under him.
He could. Oh, if he went to NFL, he'd make a lot of money.
And I'm sure he's a fantastic person. I like the fact he went out and reached for it, but
I was just saying, so
went out and asked a question.
I was just saying,
but
punters. I coached a bloke who's paying for the Florida Gators, and
there you go. But it's
a lot of money that way.
I have not seen a tactical kicking game from him this year anyway.
He's got a little grubber in the bomb. But yeah, there's no long kicks to corners. There's no 40-20 attempts out of him. It comes out of Reed.
Even
who
last
tries
play of the
to do
game.
the
Last play of the
40-20s.
game, he's shanked a kick. He's gone up and put a bomb straight up.
Pressure doesn't suit him. He can't do it.
There's no hook kick to the corners. There's not that sort of half chip bomb thing that lands on a sixer's head. So they need to find someone who does that, and Drew Hutchinson doesn't do that either. He's a run first mentality sort of player. More of a 9 than a 7 for mine, but that's a whole different thing. They just need to be able to provide better options because they've got some strikeout.
I like their strike. I really do. I just don't think it's the plugs all fit in the middle.
So
Give us a 3-2-1 so I can
I had
shuffle
Cook with
this
3, Whiten with 2, and then I had a choice of 3. I had Reed, Cameron Murray, or Tracy for the one.
Any thoughts, Blake?
Tracy had 2 tries, fair few
Give it to
tackle
the best fullback.
breaks and all that stuff. So
No? All right. What was next?
Broncos, Cowboys.
The Cowboys and Broncos in some proper Suncorp rain, which we know plenty about. 38-12. Stats barn.
6 tries to 2, 5 out of 6 conversions played 2 out of 2. 2 out of 2 penalty attempts for the Broncos. It was 20-12 at half time. 82% completion played, 61% for the Cowboys. 146 plus run meters for the Broncos. 3 line breaks to 2. 34 tackle busts to 30. 2 offloads from the Broncos, 11 from the Cowboys, and 9 of those were probably desperation at the back end of the game. 412 plus kicking meters from the Broncos. Absolutely kicked to death in this game. 2 forced dropouts to 2. 289 tackles played, 329. 12 errors played, 16. 3 penalties conceded from both sides. 3 ruck infringements to 2. Adam Reynolds with 83 Supercoach points. Drinkwater with 77. And Carrigan with 74.
So at this point, sitting on a boat looking at scores, I thought I'd go away for 3 days and the fucking world turns to shit. So what happened here?
Well, I didn't think Adam Reynolds was going to play, and that's why I went with the Cowboys tip to begin with, to be honest.
That as well, yeah.
But this was an absolute endorsement of what a very good half can do for a football side. Like this was the best individual performance I've seen this year. Most impactful performance from a player. He absolutely controlled everything in this game, especially off the back of his kicking game, which was massive. You go back and have a look at the way Drinkwater, Holmes, Tuolangi, they wanted nothing to do with those fucking bombs that were floating around all over the place. They were just letting them bounce and hoping that it bounced the right direction. Two tries scored off beautiful little grubbers in behind the line. Blokes just diving on balls to score tries. He was double pumping inside, outside, putting blokes over for short balls. It was an absolute masterclass from Adam Reynolds in this game. The Cowboys probably didn't help themselves. They clocked off a few times as well, like just horrible defensive lapses, especially like the first try for Walters just to barge over from dummy half, and there was another one later in the game. But they never really showed up. They didn't play with that line. Like when they're on, you know they're on. They've got that defensive line speed. They've got the back-to-back 1, 2, 3 punch through the middle with the small forwards and the up-tempo play, and you saw very little of it in this game from the Cowboys.
See much of this, Blake?
No, unfortunately, our reception was rubbish, and I was too busy in the server room trying to fix it. But anyway, just seeing the try, like minute scored. It's typical Cowboys for the past 3 weeks. Give a lead, and then we'll try and chase you down, and Broncos didn't allow it.
Mm-hmm. Carrigan, fantastic again.
Brilliant again. Yeah. Bloke's an absolute machine. He's getting up into that. You know, him and Payne. When Payne comes back, you've got the two
I
absolute
feel like
workhorse
every win
machines
Brisbane
that
gets
just
in this next month
Yeah.
is gold.
Absolutely
Like
it is.
gold, because they're setting up.
Yeah,
their
this is
middle.
worth 4 points this win, and then
Yeah.
any other one afterwards probably worth 4 points as well, because you're missing, as you said, Reece Walsh and Payne Haas, who are two of their big linchpins moving forward. We've got another highlight reel for the rest of time.
The Dearden tackle.
Tom
Do you want to talk
Dearden.
about that? Yeah.
Just sprint to the corner and grab Selwyn Cobbo, who's run 70-odd metres and was absolutely gassed by the time he got to the line. But the way he's just taken the hips and slid down and thrown him into touch with his hip just hitting the line before he gets the ball down. That's that'll be on the highlight reels for at least the next 5 or 10 years, and probably be watching it until the day we're gone and past that. But just throw that back to the Coates one a couple of weeks ago, and some highlight
It's been
reel
a highlight
stuff
reel
there.
first month. Like, I love the fact teams are happy to kick for the early. Love that teams are happy to spread the ball early, but also defensive-wise, there's been some fantastic rugby league in this.
I was going to
first
say, like,
month.
if we want a package outside of the Las Vegas 2 rounds,
Yeah.
well, sorry, 2 games, the absolute package you've had since then is we could absolutely package it up, spruce it up, and then send it back there again
absolutely.
and go, hey,
So
look.
this is what it actually means.
Is that, hey, look, don't go watching the UFL or the XFL, whatever the Rock's got going on. Like the reserve league for NFL right now, because they've got them playing next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Ignore that. Come watch this great game that no pads, hard contact, like unpredictability. Come watch this game again, and also bet on this game. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's what's happening. So like
the fact we see
the Xavier Coach try is the best try in past
Yeah, no, it took
150
Warriors.
years.
Young had one last
That
year
is
that was
something
probably
else,
pretty
but,
close, but when he was upside
Yeah,
down and inside out.
Dallon's had one. Yeah, but it's fantastic. I agree.
But it's been absolutely
you're right,
great
yes.
competition the past 4 weeks. Absolutely
Yes.
great competition.
It is
Well, it
a-
just looks like an absolute no-brainer now coming into Vegas next year. Like you've just there's the highlight reel that we're sending over
Yeah.
before we come over, and now it's a 5-year plan. It's just it
gonna hammer
looks
it.
stronger and stronger every time you look at
They
it.
get their plans right. Have you done Magic Round yet?
Was that?
Have you ever done Magic Round?
Well, gone to visit it.
Yeah, have you been up there?
You've gone
for it?
up there for Magic Round.
Too bit trizzy pouring beers.
Fair enough.
So-
It's,
You want to do it?
I'll be back in it. I love it. I'll be doing it every year from now on. But
Well, they're great.
It's worth doing.
It was
If you
brilliant.
like footy, if you like footy, it's worth doing. So save your overtime money and get up there. But
Overtime
but
money,
for the
I'll
fact
tell
is
you
they know that they have a product, and I think they'll do the same in Vegas. They'll start hammering it. It'll be a thing that becomes a tradition, and Captain Pete can pull this shit off. So I hope they do. What other? But
I mentioned A-Ray. He absolutely terrorised the Cowboys for most of this game. Just pinpoint distance kicking, grubbers, and the Cowboys forward rotation again was absolute dog shit. Just like the Dogs in the previous game, their forward rotation did absolutely nothing when they came onto the field and got completely bashed through the middle of the field. It was led by Carrigan and Jensen and the Hetherington. These guys all had really good
Jensen?
games. So it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Just absolute bowling ball. Back to looked a bit like Webke when he was fully on the charge through the middle of the field. No, not every minute that he was out there, but he's got that sort of that ilk about him where he's palming blokes off and just dropping the shoulder on people and knocking them backwards. It was fantastic, and considering what the Broncos had out, this was a massive win for them. I thought Robson and Chad were decent. They had okay games. Cotter and Nanai and Dearden were good, but it's Val and Drinkwater. Like every week when they're looking for points, it's Val Holmes and Scott Drinkwater are the only two that really provide a lot of attacking options for the Cowboys.
I need to ask you about Drinkwater's defence.
Oh, it's very, very poor. That's why he doesn't play 6.
Yeah. But even at the back, there's some commentary that if Latrell had a game like him in defence, you'd
His
hear about it.
positioning is okay, but he just gets bumped off way too easily. He just gets pushed aside.
How about Valentine Holmes' defence? Because I heard last week
He's been having some issues too. Yeah.
He's had issues for a couple of
So I heard
years,
last week. So I was listening to 2GB on the radio to work, and they were saying for the Dragons' first 18 points, it was basically almost through.
Was all through.
Valentine Holmes. Just make absolute poor decisions. Even he's making
Rushing out of the line.
Rushing a line.
I think
rushing a line at the 50-meter mark.
And missing
is
guys
almost
by
unheard of. You
meters.
don't do that. You just slide.
he gets exposed a lot. I go back to the Stafford Toa game. You go back to the Talakai's done to him. But then there's other blokes. I think Morgan Harper, man, he gets exposed. I think he's a fullback defending the line.
When he holds the line,
think
he's
he's
a pretty decent defender.
But for Queensland, he did amazing.
But I think he's a defensive. I think he's a fullback. I think he's just a fullback
I think
trying
he's a
to.
winger, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got one decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You stay in or you come.
Yeah.
You jam or
But
you
you're
stay
right,
on your
100%
line.
right.
No, 'cause
I've noticed it even this year. What trials did that? Then one of the trials you got owned.
Yeah, you got absolutely pulled
I
apart.
can't remember what trial it was.
Because like I said, I'm looking at the NRL app and I'm seeing Valentine Holmes. This. And it's like, hang on a minute, I'll listen to 2GB and he was getting absolutely burned.
And he probably missed more tackles.
Burned during the
than
Dragons game. And they were even saying then, the game before, he had a horrible defensive game. So
the Dragons game was the worst game I
he's
think
not
I've
a
ever
defender.
seen Holmes play. He was horrendous in that game. But he's got some defensive reads there, and I don't know whether it's because he doesn't trust his inside man or whether he, what that is. But when he only sort of hits 50% of the time when he charges out of the line, which is a big issue. I thought Tristan Saylor looked very lively, sharp in and around the play, causing a few problems. Didn't have the stats to really back it up, but I thought he had a decent game. So did Staggs and Willison. They were decent. Baker probably had his best game as a Bronco.
Yeah.
He was good in the middle of the field. Hetherington and Smoothie were good as well, but it was, Carrigan and Reynolds. They were the best two players on the park by a long way.
Very quickly before we wrap this game up. Oh, back on track, Brisbane then.
Absolutely.
Look good. I feel like they're a well-coached team. I just haven't been with us a little bit this
They're just
year.
going to get to the right points of the field.
Yeah, but I think they're very well drilled. They do a lot of things very right, and they just haven't quite been with us. Thoughts?
Cobbo
You look at
could have
me-
had a
you look at
hat-trick
me
in
like
this
you
game.
disagree, but you
No, I'm with
you
you.
can tell me I'm an idiot. That's fine.
No. So when you're without the most beautiful player in the comp,
Yeah, in the Cosmos.
yeah, too fair.
But Cobbo was very good in this game too. Could have had a hat trick and just didn't happen for him. He was busting tackles and putting in plenty of effort,
One day there'll
but-
be the perfect Brisbane game where they score 120. But this will all come off. We say this all the time about
Yeah, I gave Reynolds a 3. I just thought
Yeah.
it was a masterclass the way he got him around the field. Carrigan easily the 2. And then, I don't know. You probably have to give Drinkwater a point just because he was the guy who provided the points for the Cowboys. But you could go and find anyone else.
2 quick questions, Barn. 2 years ago, Cowboys juiced up, ready to go, won the first bunch, fell off a cliff. Last year, other way around, sucked. This year, come out juiced up, won the first few. Concerns or just wet weather and nothing went right?
I think the small forward pack's coming back to hurt them. Unless they're really on the front foot, they don't seem to play that up-tempo footy that they need to play.
Yeah.
Even on the back foot, they need to play that physical, continual swarming pressure and just take the energy out of their opposition, and they're not doing it when they're on the back foot. They're just trying to hold position in the middle of the field, and they're getting stormed over through the middle.
Best way to describe it is Knights this time last year. Adam O'Brien on the chopping block, won 10 in a row in the finals, and he's so it's rugby league.
Back again.
Newcastle's back in the bottom four too. So
Yeah, that's also true.
After
No,
record game.
it's rugby league. Like the best way to describe it. Look at the second half of the competition, not the first half.
yeah, week to week, everything
of course,
changes.
yeah.
Like we just look as much as we can carry on. The second half of the competition is where we start getting criticised.
Absolutely.
We start criticising. The first half is look.
Origin time.
But what else will we talk
There we
about for
go.
15 weeks if we didn't do that?
Oh,
Very quick. Here's a thought I had. No, and you're right. No, yeah, I know what you're saying. Here's a thought I had today. I was just, obviously, as I do, sit
Sorry,
and think. New South Wales could do worse
Oh, fuck myself else.
than pick Reynolds at 7 and Cleary at 6. And no one will want to hear that, but it would be
Absolutely.
absolutely ideal. Because the best game of Cleary's life, he technically played 6 when quote. That if it takes some balls from Madge, but they could do it.
And half the time Cleary plays 6 anyway because Yo's
you
taking
free him
that
up.
first ball.
Yeah, you free him up and just put Reynolds in between the two. Off you go.
Brilliant kicking game everywhere. Like
I mean,
we've got two
you know,
options for
I feel like the
top
talk,
class kicking
the
game.
Lillian talk had everyone if it would have been sort of Cleary Moses. But the more you think about it, go, well, why don't you just play Reynolds at 7 and let Cleary play a pair wide and have all the time in the world? He's never going to miss a tackle. He's never going to do anything wrong.
That's
He's
just a
gonna
spot
fucking-
defender on Reynolds,
Yeah.
which has been a big thing for his entire career.
Yeah.
That his shoulders are
So,
a paper, but
but it's almost where you'd go. But whether he's got the balls to do it. But in a world where we have no other 5'8".
anyway, enough questions out of you. Let's move on.
No, all right, we got. Let's get to the
If
next
it's
one.
something that's out of origin, I'm more than happy to chime in from a Queenslander point of view.
Yeah, come on. You wouldn't like that, would you?
No, your scariest asset is Tom Trbojevic. I don't think you realise that. Like he's been out for the past almost 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
and when he absolutely destroyed us was
The Perth game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. He come in and destroyed us. Like he's been out for the past
He'll
2
play
years,
centre again.
and that's what scares me.
Yeah, and
Because-
Latrell played other centre,
because-
and it doesn't matter.
And there we go.
Yeah.
So you got two of the most dangerous, unpredictable players in rugby league. Come there. James Tedesco is James Tedesco.
Got to keep. him
He's
on the
also
field.
absolute pinball in itself.
Yeah,
Like you got that. Queensland's always built on just stubbornness.
yeah,
Just do your job.
yeah.
And I brought Valentine's before. His defensive reads right now. He'll be centre. Like you got one centre to look at. We have two very dangerous centres right now.
But
it's,
then Fowler get the origin, not miss tackle, and then Gago will get the origin, not miss tackle as well.
Ponga
That's
will
it.
grow 3 legs, so
Yeah.
will DCE.
We'll get there.
Oh,
Harry
yeah.
Grant will just suddenly ascend from heaven again.